The Chrysler Hemi engines are arguably the best-known engine series in the world. The most iconic cars from the 60s and 70s have used the Hemi Dodge Charger and Challenger, Plymouth Superbird and Hemi Cuda, Jensen Interceptor, and many others. In this video, I'll discuss the reliability of the 5.7 Hemi and common problems that its users face. Development of the 5.7 Hemi engine. Before we get into the more serious issues regarding the reliability of the 5.7 Hemi, I think it's a good idea to talk a bit about the original Hemi engines and how the design developed through the year. The name Hemi is actually an abbreviation for hemispherical cylinder head. Hemi head design that creates a very efficient combustion chamber, minimal heat loss, and great surface-to-volume ratio. The downside of the design is that it only allows two larger and heavier valves, so multi-valve setups are not an option. Chrysler developed the first Hemi engines for use in the Republic P-47 Thunderbolt WW2 airplane, but the first commercially available Hemi was built in 1950 under the name Firepower. The 5.4-liter engine had a power output of 180 horsepower, which was impressive for the time. The hemispherical cylinder head engine was revived in 1964 for its second generation. Now properly branded as Hemi, it became one of the most iconic engines ever developed. The 426 is used to distinguish it from the Firepower engine and signifies the engine displacement in cubic inches, 426 cubic inches or 7.0 L. Hemi engines were discontinued for more than 3 decades with a resurgence in 2003. The third-generation new cylinder design wasn't a real hemisphere anymore, but it was similar enough to be called a Hemi. Further upgrades include a coil-on plug ignition system that doesn't need a distributor and a dual spark plug design that improves combustion and reduces emissions. The 5.7 Hemi was revised in 2009 to include variable camshaft timing, Chrysler's way of calling variable valve timing. Let's discuss the 5.7 Hemi's common problems. Firstly, the valve seat drop. The most serious problem of the 2003 to 2008 Hemi engines is the valve seat drop. The reason why it happens is unclear. Some attribute it to high RPM, while others blame it on the engine overheating. What's a likely cause is a temperature spike once a hot engine has been turned off. Next is lifter and camshaft failure. In 2009, Chrysler made revisions to the 5.7 Hemi, along with the name Eagle, to distinguish it from its predecessor. For all the benefits the revision brought, like fixing the valve seat drop, it also introduced another fatal flaw to the engine: the Hemi Tick. The tick is a characteristic and well-known issue with Hemi engines. In the case of the lifter, when the engine reaches the ideal operating temperature, you'll start hearing an intermittent ticking noise. Exhaust manifold bolts. The Hemi tick is seemingly tied to everything, even the exhaust manifold leak. The characteristic sound can be a symptom of worn manifold bolts, especially if it's noticeable after starting the engine but then goes away. Replacing the manifold bolts is not as expensive as repairing the lifter and camshaft, but it's still a problem that you'll likely have to cover out of your own pocket. The average cost of bolt replacement, new gaskets, and labor costs comes up to around $500, low gas mileage. There are a lot of good things that can be said about the Hemi 5.8, but arguably the design has been outdated before when it came out. The gas mileage is one of the main drawbacks of the 5.7 Hemi, as even the official figures are not that good. A brand new Ram 1500 with the 5.7 Hemi can do 15 miles to the gallon in the city, or 22 miles to the gallon on the highway. The real-life figures are lower, especially under load or when pushed harder. So, is the 5.7L Hemi a good engine? The 5.7L Hemi is a good engine as proven by the 19-year production run and the number of satisfied owners. If it doesn't develop some of the problems we've discussed, it can cross over 200,000 miles without problems. How many miles will a Hemi 5.7 last? Hemi can last for at least 200,000 miles, with some trucks pushing more than 300,000 miles. But the mileage you can expect depends as much on regular maintenance as it does on luck. Models made before 2009 can self-destruct from a lifter problem, while the revised models suffer from camshaft and lifter failure that can be very expensive to fix. So what's the verdict? Chrysler's 5.7-liter Hemi V8 engine is a good option whether you're looking for a pickup truck or a sports car. While there are some serious issues to be aware of, most of the more recent models have been performing better and have a lower failure rate. The iconic name, high power output, and classic V8 design are some of the strongest reasons why you should consider the 5.7 Hemi. I hope this video helped you with any important decisions. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like and follow, so you don't miss any of my videos.